YouTube music production is dead. Selling beats on YouTube is dead, according to Bolo. I hear this all the time, this narrative that something's dead specifically in the music production community, but this is Bolo saying this. This is Diamond certified hitmaker Bolo, the guy that actually has created multiple successful YouTube channels. So he's not just a random commenter with a letter as a profile pic. I haven't actually watched this video, so I'm gonna watch it live right now and react to it.
I'm talking about actual producers making beats, strictly putting them on YouTube, and then trying to make sales or trying to make money off those beats.
I did post something recently, and it was just a screenshot of a tweet where someone was saying that music production YouTube was dead, that the community was dead. And then people were like, yeah, because producer grind disappeared, Kenny Beats disappeared. Everyone was talking about John Makes Beats being like the last hope for the culture on YouTube. That's not what he's saying. He's specifically talking about using YouTube as a traffic source to sell beats. Now remember, YouTube used to be this amazing, beautiful place where you could upload a beat, and as long as that beat was good, somebody would buy it and the algorithm would push it. Now look, is selling beats dead? Well, no, this is me today. 18 hours ago, I sold my first beat of the day, and then since then 1, 2, 3, 4, one just now. So 5 beats a day, that's not terrible. Those aren't terrible numbers, but they're certainly not 2007 numbers or even 2019 numbers.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, it is not like how it used to be.
What'd I just say?
Some producers on here doing it, and they're doing pretty cool. But like how it was a few years ago, where the masses put a lot of stuff here on YouTube in the hopes of maybe one day an artist hearing it and using it, and then it gets, viral and it goes big, and then now the artist has to reach back and get to you, or you might put a beat on there and then you might try to lease it out or do something like that. It's not like that anymore.
I like that he's being specific, because a lot of people just have their theories. I don't 100% agree that those days are gone. But why were beats selling so well 10 years ago? I know beats were selling really well during the days of Soundclick, and then things transitioned over more to YouTube. But why were beats selling so well just 10 years ago? I started selling beats online in, I think, 2016, 2017. I was doing decently well, but I wasn't trying that hard. And then I was looking at guys like Cash Money AP who were uploading beats every single day, and it seemed like every single one of their beats was going viral. It was hitting 100,000 to several million views, and those sales were converting. So I started uploading beats every single day. I started collaborating. I started taking things really seriously. And full transparency, Abe and Mike Trampy were invaluable in my journey, because they explained to me how back then there were fewer members at Beatstars. It was a different era, and so they had a lot of time to onboard new producers to their platform. I remember Illmind was a part of Beatstars. That's another reason I joined. And they explained how to run meta ads. They explained traffic sources and funnel systems and all that. And it took about 2 or 3 years for my online beat selling business to really become my primary source of income. But when it happened, oh my God, I was shocked, but it happened. Back then, there were fewer producers in the space. There are probably 10 to 100 times more now. I have no idea what the numbers, but there are definitely more. There was a more democratic YouTube algorithm back then. Things were different back then. The niches weren't so necessary. The algorithm wasn't so punitive. And there was just overall more hope in the music business. And I think more hope led to more beat sales. Let me explain what I mean. So during the pandemic, 2019, 2020, 2021 era, that was like a second renaissance, because I missed the first renaissance. I was late. I dragged my feet. I didn't want to sell beats online because I was a moron. But people were getting stimulus checks during that period. People were getting PPP loans. People were in the house more, working from home, so they had more time. There was no more commute. They could be working remotely while listening to beats over on their phone while they're on a Zoom call. People had more money because they were stuck in the house. They weren't going out spending money on leisure activities. Life was amazing for a producer. I mean, obviously there was a global tragedy at the time, still is. Then the YouTube algorithm changed. YouTube got greedy. They wanted to make more money. Every time there's an algorithmic change on YouTube, it's to obviously bolster their bottom line. And even the top performing beat channels lost like 3/4 of their viewership. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. This was happening to everybody. This is one of the top. I love this person's beats. 7 years ago, 6 years ago was 2020. So, and 7 years ago is 2019. Millions of views on YouTube. And nowadays, if you look at the latest beats on this very same channel, the numbers are really different. And it's not as though, and he's doing great, and it's not as though the quality of the beats changed. The beats are still amazing. It's not as though the keyword niche changed. It's not as though J. Cole's relevance dwindled. It didn't. Even Cash Money AP came back to YouTube at a certain point in the recent months, and you look at his video views historically. If you go back to the popular, this is what I was talking about. This was so motivational, and obviously this doesn't count because this is a music video. Cash Money AP got a deal. He became an artist. He did amazing things. But I mean, similar views, millions and millions and millions of views 10 years ago, 8 years ago, and the latest videos, they're doing great. I would love to get these kinds of numbers, but you see that there's a discrepancy. Then what else happened in the music industry? Spotify streaming. People became way more dependent on the streaming economy, and the streaming economy just got worse. The shrinking royalty pot, the 1,000 view limit, the 1,000 play minimum for you to even monetize a track on Spotify. Realistically, is this going to devastate an artist financially? No, but psychologically it has an effect on people. People start losing hope. All that hope that we had built up 10 years ago is now starting to shrink. Then AI comes along, and AI propaganda is crazy. The budgets they have for their propaganda, and what are their CEOs saying? From Mikey Schulman saying making music isn't fun, we're going to just replace talent, to Higsfield creating their propaganda machine where their website verbatim says you don't need talent anymore. And then all the army of who knows if they're paid trolls, who knows if they're bots, and who knows if they're actual just useful idiots, so to speak, running around the internet commenting, you will be replaced by AI soon. No one wants human artists. Human slop is, it's a psychological war going on against creative folks. So if I'm an artist in this current landscape of the music industry, sorry for my digression, this is a tangent, but I'm probably feeling discouraged. And then finally, all this coverage about how rap music is no longer selling, rap music is no longer charting, that whole thing about Billboard and no top selling singles, whatever it was a lie. I covered it. I explained what it was. It was a trick. So that's number one. But number two, who cares about Billboard when you're an aspiring rapper? That shouldn't be the metric. That shouldn't be what motivates you. However, psychologically, you're dealing with this onslaught of people telling you AI is going to replace you, of Spotify cutting your royalties even smaller, of Billboard reporting that, the genre of music you make isn't relevant anymore, even though it is. So hearing all of this at once, why wouldn't artists get scared? Why wouldn't artists get discouraged? As a result, you're going to have fewer artists trying to professionally pursue music. I think this all has very little to do with reality and more to do with propaganda, psychology, collective emotion. But I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let's go back to Bolo.
It is not like that anymore. And to be truthfully honest with you, I don't know if it'll ever get back to it like that anymore. And then now you got people that can literally take that beat and then upload it to AI, and then AI can pretty much remake the beat. Then you can turn around and get that beat copyrighted, and now your beat is sitting here on YouTube collecting dust.
I remember someone did that to me. There's, again, a lot of AI propaganda where the AI lovers will say, you can do that. Take someone else's beat. I think there were Marika ads that we covered that were saying, yeah, you can legally steal beats. You can't. I'm not saying that's what Bolo's saying, but I'm saying that's a narrative that's out there. He's right about that. There's a narrative out there that you can do that shit. I made a video showing somebody doing that to me, and then me using the Digital Millennium Copyright Act to get their stuff taken down damn near immediately. But again, it's the psychology of it. It scares people.
And then if you try to go back, then they can turn around and sue you for copyright infringement for trying to get something that you made. It's crazy.
I mean, they can. I don't think they would win
right now. It's a crazy situation that people still want to put their stuff here on YouTube, with all the masses of people on here that can pluck away from that beat, and then they still think that they can make a little bit of money.
Yeah, there's something wrong with me.
It's not like that anymore. A lot of the beats, even still to this day, a lot of them all sound the same.
So I'm working in the community centers. I'm working with kids. I'm in the Midwest. I'm in Wisconsin. Now we have our own sound. Well, my city doesn't. Milwaukee has its own sound. And so now there are all these Milwaukee type beats, and Chicken P, Steve the Stoner, 414 Big Frank, and Maya P. So now there are all these Maya P type beats. So I was at the community center the other day, and that's what the kids were listening to and rapping to, which are decidedly different from a Slayer type beat, which are decidedly different from a Travis Scott type beat, which are decidedly different from a old school boom bap type beat, which are still incredibly relevant in the algorithm. So you don't know what's out there. I don't know what's all out there because I don't search for it. So I'm not comfortable saying everything sounds the same because I haven't heard even a fraction of what's available.
And then the thing about it is they sound the same, but they kind of sound like watered down.
You know what? But I'll say this about that. He's right because, and this is a consequence of the YouTube algorithm, and I hate this part. And this is a big reason why my beat selling course hasn't come out, because so much stuff has changed. And I feel like over the last 5 months, the YouTube algorithm has changed multiple times in big ways. The worst thing the YouTube algorithm has done to producers, next to just not showing our shit to our subscribers and not being democratic, is forcing us to really focus on one niche and conditioning people who are searching for that sound to expect something before even finding it. So in other words, if someone searches for pain music type beat, right? You're going to expect to hear TNT, his style. And even if someone makes an amazing beat that doesn't sound like a Rod Wave track or a Polo G track produced by, the top producers in that genre, they're going to skip it because YouTube has this whole relevancy filter, embedded in the algorithm. You try to push the envelope a little. You try to make, I haven't heard the new Drake album just dropped. I haven't heard it, but I assume all the tracks on there don't sound exactly the same. But the problem is, if I upload a Drake type beat and it sounds like Miami bass, even though I believe he has some Miami bass influence on one of the new albums, people aren't going to see that as relevant because it doesn't sound like what their idea of essential Drake is. And YouTube is going to recognize that, and it's only going to push what's incredibly relevant. In other words, what's not so original. Like, it has to be so specific. There's no wiggle room for creativity, or there's less wiggle room for creativity. There are some more expansive SEO niches. You could create experimental type beats. You could always put experimental Kanye West type beat or something, because who the hell knows what type of music Kanye's going to come out with. So there are some keyword niches that are more forgiving than others, but to Bolo's point, I hate this part of YouTube SEO. This is awful. This is one of the worst things ever because it's discouraging creativity. It wants everything homogenous because that makes searching easier, and therefore it makes YouTube more money at the end of the day.
A little bit. They don't really have that emotion or that feeling, because main reason why is a lot of people that are uploading these beats are using loops and samples, and now they are using AI. You can really notice it strictly just by the thumbnails.
Thumbnails look terrible.
You look at a lot of the thumbnails right now, a lot of the thumbnails look pretty much the same.
I have a question for the comment section. Do you think that there's going to be a backlash eventually? Because things are looking the same. I'm not seeing AI take over production yet. If it were to happen, it would be similar, where everything starts sounding homogenous, just like it would be like the musical version of those ugly ass AI flyers. So what do you think will happen? Will there eventually be a backlash against this stuff? Because I'm seeing the YouTube thumbnails, and a lot of them are looking exactly the same and not in a good way. So are people going to stop clicking on that? Do you think? Leave a comment.
Unless, you kind of put a little work in and get your prompt right. But if you don't really know how to prompt like that, your thumbnail is going to look just like somebody else's thumbnail, because the AI is pretty much just pulling from a source.
Yeah, yep. It's stealing.
I even got problems with prompting. So my thumbnails kind of look like somebody else's thumbnails.
My thumbnails look terrible because I still use Photoshop.
And that's the same thing that's going on with a lot of these guys who are trying to upload these beats to YouTube. They're prompting these beats.
I need Bolo to send me links. I want to see this because I personally haven't. Maybe I'm just lucky. Anytime I've reviewed YouTube type beat channels, I'm always impressed. I don't know. You tell me.
The melodies, and a lot of these melodies are coming back the same because they don't know how to prompt and they don't know how to make the AI do its thing. It's just like, okay, what I'm going to do is whatever artist that's out right now, I'm going to copy that exact style. I'm going to put this thing on YouTube, and there's going to be a whole bunch of people that's going to listen to my song, and then somebody's going to pick it up. Everybody thinks it's going to be like the big Kodak Black moment, you know what I'm saying, where he goes and I guess somebody in his camp, or he hears a song off of YouTube, they take it, record it, and next you know, now boom, you got somebody who just rapped on your beat, now you're a big producer.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't a lot of tracks from the new Drake album come from either YouTube or Beatstars? It's hard to say because I would say people are still searching for beats on YouTube above Beatstars, but it's changing. I think Beatstars is, and I hope they do because their algorithm's way better. I feel like people are searching maybe, I don't know, 70% on YouTube and 30% on Beatstars. That's not a real stat. I'm just making shit up, but that's how I feel. And to look at Google Trends, this is just for the term tight beat. This isn't alarming. I don't look at this and think, oh man, we're in trouble. I don't know why there was this huge jump and peak in 2023. Tell me how you interpret this.
You can go to Beatstars, you can go to Airbit, you can go to all these other different places, and sometimes go directly to the source, to maybe somebody's website, and get the beats like that.
I hope that YouTube does lose its footing in favor of people searching directly through Beatstars Marketplace. Because one, it's going to eliminate theft. Two, it's going to encourage buying. Three, it's going to allow us to enter into another renaissance where what people are searching for is what they get, regardless of what the algorithm wants, because the Beatstars algorithm isn't like YouTube's algorithm. The other thing too is when you log into, this is new, when you log into Beatstars, there's this free downloads update. The nature of online beat selling is different. I don't want to open up a can of worms, but I kind of am. This is something that I want to talk more. I would love to have people from Beatstars on here for a conversation about this. But now we can set commercial terms for free downloads. That's a huge change. What this means is, and it's already happening, because of potential for sales to be dropping. And again, I'm selling beats every day, but my techniques are changing quite a bit. The way I sell beats today is not how I sold them 5 years ago, 3 years ago even. But this is a huge pivot to be giving free beats away in exchange for splits and then monetizing that way. Could it work? I mean, if you're one of these people for whom traffic is abundant, like let's say you get 100, I don't know if I get 100 free downloads a day, but if half of those tracks become songs, that's 50 songs a day. Let's say those songs end up making 50 songs a day, and it makes every song makes a total of $20 from their distributors. That's $1,000 a day, and then you divide it by 2, and it's $500 a day. So that's not bad. I mean, if you're one of those people with that huge of a customer base, even if you're giving the stuff away for free, cool. But that money's not going to be instant. That's going to have to build up over time. So it's not like you're going to be making $5,000. That might take years to build up. But it's a possibility, and the fact that Beatstars has implemented that should tell you something.
And to think that there's still some people that are hanging on to the glory days of doing this, it's just not like that anymore. There's a shift going on. There's a shift going on around the whole YouTube music space, because we really have one of the smallest niches here on YouTube. But to have this space be condensed, and now the algorithm moving really weird right now, a lot of these people are seeing their numbers completely tank right now.
Yep, that's why we got to start producer brief. Let me see what some of the conclusions are, if he has some.
You can set up whatever deals and specials you want, or you can go to any of the other sites like Beatstars, Airbit, or whatever else they got right now. And I know they got a few more, but that's the two I know. You know, I'm not sure if they got Soundclick anymore. If they still got Soundclick, that would shock the hell out of me. But start your own thing. Be a direct-to-consumer type of a situation.
There's still Soundclick, right? Still exists. I'm sure there are still people making beats and making sales on. Oh yeah, Buck Rolls on here. Contraband. Yeah, a lot of these Four Classics. Shout out to him. A lot of these folks, Dope Boys are Rick and Thaddeus. Wow. Okay, yeah. There are a lot of people here that know what they wouldn't be here if they weren't winning. Here's my advice to everybody who's watching this as a producer. We don't know what the future holds. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, as Bolo just outlined. I don't 100% agree with everything he's saying, but the sentiment, I think, is something that we should pay attention to And I think most of all, we need to practice the law of action. So do something, come up with a plan, look at what's happening right now, look at the current landscape and start planting seeds. Because as he's saying, yeah, YouTube isn't always going to be the best. He's saying it's dead, but or he's implying that it's dying, something like that, and it might be. And if it disappears, guess what? That's it, because we don't own that, we don't control it, we don't even know what the algorithm's doing. So we need to plant seeds elsewhere. We can't put all of our seeds. I'm going to mix metaphors. You know what I'm saying? We can't just rely on our YouTube growth and our YouTube presence to carry us into 2027, 2028. So I would encourage you not to make an exit from YouTube, but to look into other methods of selling beats, other methods of gaining traffic, other methods of going direct to consumer. Work on your email list. A lot of the old school methods still apply because direct to consumer is old school, right? It is. So contact. We can't rely on YouTube. Some people are winning on YouTube still, so it's not completely dead. Some people are in the middle like me, but don't panic. Plan. Planning is a much better P word than panic. So shout out to Bolo for making this video. Shout out to you for watching this video. I appreciate it. Much success to you. And if you know of new traffic sources, new platforms on which producers can upload beats and create a demand for their tracks, let us know. I'm curious. I want to share that. I want to spread that information to the community. Once again, appreciate you. Catch you on the next one. Peace.